There is a kind of silence that only comes with age. Not the peaceful silence of a quiet evening, but a deeper one. A silence where the phone doesn't ring as often. Where conversations become shorter, and memories become louder than the present. People often talk about growing old, they talk about retirement, about health, about slowing down, but there is one thing. Almost no one truly prepares you for loneliness. Not the kind that comes from being alone for a few hours, but the kind that slowly settles into your days, into your routine, into your heart. Today, we will talk about the loneliness of old age. Not to make you feel sad, but to help you understand it. To give it a voice, and to remind you that even in loneliness, there is still meaning. Part 1. When the world moves on. There was a time when life felt full. Work kept you busy, family filled the house. There was noise, movement, purpose. Then slowly things begin to change. Children grow up, build their own lives, move away, or become busy. Friends you once saw every week become people you only think about. And one day, you look around, and the world feels quieter. Not because life has stopped, but because it has moved on, without you in the same way. This is one of the first truths of old age: life doesn't end, but your role in it changes, and that change can feel like loss. Part 2. The house becomes too quiet, a home that once felt alive begins to feel different, the same walls, the same furniture. But something is missing: voices, laughter, movement. There was a woman who would cook every day for her family. Now, she cooks for one, she still prepares meals. But the table feels too large, the silence during meals becomes louder than any conversation. This is the loneliness that people don't talk about, the quiet that echoes. It is not painful in a dramatic way. It is slow, constant, and deeply felt. Part 3. People visit. But not like before. In old age, people still come. Children visit, relatives call, neighbors check in, but something feels different. The visits are shorter, the conversations feel rushed. There is always somewhere else to go, something else to do. You smile, you listen, but deep inside, you feel it. You are no longer the center of anyone's world, and that realization can be painful. Not because you expect attention, but because you remember a time when you mattered more in daily life. Part 4. The weight of memories. As the present becomes quieter, the past becomes louder, memories return more often. Moments from years ago, faces you haven't seen in decades, voices you can still hear in your mind. There was a man who would sit quietly every evening. Not watching television, not reading, just remembering. Because memories become companions. But they are bittersweet, they bring comfort, but also remind you of what is gone. And sometimes, living in memories feels easier than facing the silence of the present. Part 5. Losing people you love. This is perhaps the hardest part. As you grow older, you begin to lose people. Friends, relatives, sometimes even a life partner. Each loss leaves a space, a chair that remains empty, a voice that is no longer there. And with each loss, loneliness deepens, because these were not just people. They were pieces of your life, and when they are gone, a part of your story feels incomplete. Part 6. Feeling invisible. There comes a moment when you feel unseen, not intentionally ignored, but simply overlooked. In conversations, in decisions, in daily life. You are present, but not always noticed. People speak around you, instead of to you. They assume you don't understand, or don't need to be included, and slowly, you begin to feel invisible. This kind of loneliness is not about being alone. It is about not being acknowledged. Part 7. Why they don't talk about it. So why doesn't anyone talk about this? Because loneliness in old age is quiet. It is not dramatic. It does not demand attention, and many older people choose not to speak about it. They don't want to burden others. They don't want to seem weak, so they carry it silently. With dignity, with patience, but just because it is silent doesn't mean it isn't real. Part 8. Finding peace within. And yet, there is another side to this story. Because not all loneliness is empty, some of it becomes peace. There was a woman who learned to sit with herself. to enjoy quiet mornings, to find comfort in small routines. She read, she reflected, she accepted, and slowly, her loneliness transformed into something else, solitude, a space where she could breathe. Without expectations, without noise, because in the end, old age is not just about loss. It is also about understanding what matters, and letting go of what doesn't. Final message, if you are young, remember this, one day, you will grow old too. And the way you treat the elderly today will shape the world you live in tomorrow. And if you are older, know this, your life still matters. Your present still matters, your story, your memories, your existence still have meaning. Loneliness may be part of this journey, but it does not define your worth. Because even in silence, your life still speaks.